Welcome guys, it's Justice again here from tutorialscamp.com. So in the last video I'll show you how to actually create a very basic hello world application in Java, and I promise you that in the next video I will show you the difference between compile time and runtime. And here it is. I'm very excited to show you this difference, right? So the why you need to know this thing is that as a programmer, right, when you go ahead, right, coding, you learn a lot, and you know the difference between you have to know the difference between compile time and runtime, because there may be certain errors you need to handle in your runtime, and certain errors you need to handle at runtime. So that's the main reason why I need to understand this thing. So let's take a compile time first, and then let me illustrate what these guys mean, right? So let's take it one by one, and let me show you what is meant by. Let's take compile time first, right? So let's say compile time is the compilation of Java application into bytecode. I'm sure you guys can see it very well, right? Oh, I need to bring it here for that you guys. Let me increase the font of it so that you guys can see it very well. There is a search bar. All right, this is good. So compile time is the compilation of Java application into bytecode. So what happens here is that, when you have already defined your Java application like hello world application, right, and when you want to run it, you do something like I think I have a visual element here. Let me show you that one rather, right? Okay, so this is cool, right? So when you have your application, Java application, right, you like simple dot. So let's say you have developed your Java application very well, coded everything, right? So first, before you can run it on your system, you need to compile it, and that's what is meant by compile time. And we compare it with this syntax java, and then the name of your Java application, which is simple.java, right? That's exactly what's going on. So you compile the name with Java, you compile your Java code, right? Then what will go into is that the compiler will convert the code that you have written in your Java application, something like this, right? So if you have hello world like this, right, this compiler, right, will compile it into a bytecode that the computer will understand. That's very basic right here. So think of this as your Java application, and this the compiler, right? So this thing represents the command that you will run here, right? You have your Java application, and then inside your computer you just type compile simple Java, right? So what this compiler will do is that it will convert this code, hello world code, right, this hello world code, into a bytecode that your computer will understand. And remember, when the compiler compile your code, it doesn't save it as .java, it saves it as .class, right? The reason is because you may have the multiple number of classes inside a single Java file, right? So when the compiler compile individual classes into different files, right? But when you into different classes, That's it. Very basic. You need to understand that, and you get a very key concept as we move on, and then you understand everything, right? So that's exactly what is meant by what Java compile time, right? Is the compilation of what Java application. So this is what is into it. We have our simple Java tutorialscamp.com here, right? If you want to compile it, this is what you will do. You open the command prompt, right? cmd. This is what you open the command prompt and do what? Navigate to where it is say desktop, and then do something like Java, right? And then tutorials camp.java, right? So what you are doing is that you are compiling this code here into what? A bytecode, and this is what is meant by what? Compile time, right? Remember the key Java compile tutorialscamp.com, right? This is what it means by, if you hit on enter, it is going to compile, right? You can see it is compiling here. It is taking time, right? It is now done comparing. Now what, when you want to execute it, that's what is what term as what? Runtime. So now you have seen what is meant by compile time. So let's go ahead and let me show you what is meant by what? Runtime, right? Okay, so runtime is the execution of a application bytecode, right? So you see, when we compile it, right, when I first compile my application with this thing here, right, with this Java key, let me show you something that went on my desktop. View it large, right? So when I compare it with this Java tutorials camp, right, you see I had only this on my application, right? But the Java the compiler right here compile this thing into something that look very terrible like this, right? So it compare it into what? A bytecode here, right? So it has compiled into a bytecode. Now if I want to run this application, I need to what? Run this bytecode. And now I'm not running Java application, I'm what? Running a bytecode. That is why a runtime is termed as the execution of application bytecode, right? So this application Java application that we have compiled it into a bytecode with this keyword, with this syntax here. It has compiled into a bytecode. Now if we want to run it, what we run this thing into, we execute this bytecode, right? So this is what we do. We do Java instead of what? Instead of Java we use what? Java, and then tutorialscamp.java, right? You have gotten hello world. Okay, now this thing actually here is .class type. It's not a Java file, right? If you hover over this, you will see, let me show you the properties. You can see this is what? A Java file right here, right? But look at this thing here, it's definitely a class file. You got it, right? It's a class file, it's not a Java file anymore. So that means if you want to, we are running our application, we can actually run the class name here, this class name here, tutorials camp, without adding the extension to it. So you can do something like Java tutorials camp. You see, and we have gotten it. We did not add the extension and we have gotten it. That's very basic. So guys, that's what you need to understand, right? Compile time and then what? Runtime. I'm sorry, I've actually deleted the compile time explanation, right? If you want it, you can actually go back and then watch it, right? So runtime is the execution of a Java bytecode, and compile time is what is the converting of what Java application into what a bytecode. So this is what went on when what goes on in during runtime. Okay, so during runtime, right? During runtime, the class file which is this, right? The class, sorry, this is not what I'm looking for. The class file which is this here, the system will load it. The system will load this class into each memory and then verify that, hey, do I have a correct bytecode into it, the language that the computer will understand. Then the computer will what? Interpret it. Then when it's successful, that right, now I'm much assured that I can interpret this thing, then it will run this thing on what? It will run the bytecode on the what? The system. This is my operating system, right? Or the hardware. This is my operating system laptop or the hardware, right? So that's basically what you need to understand. It's really simple, and you need to understand what is actually going on here, right? So that's the difference between compile time and what runtime. You actually need to understand this very well. It's really really easy, right? And it doesn't require very deep understanding, but you just need to understand the concept behind it, right? You can use this visual element here to guide you to understand the concept. So guys, that's exactly what is meant by that. And thanks for watching. The next video I'm going to talk about something special, or I'll see if we need to do some exercise or something, so that I need to make sure that you guys are collaborating with me and you are fully satisfied with what I'm teaching, right? So thanks for watching, and then see you in the next video. If you have any difficulties, let me know in the comment section below. Also, you can check the description of the video. I have my blog and then social media page in there. You can contact me one-on-one. So thank you for watching, and then have a